Yep. You already know what it is. Southpaw Talk with Southpaw Slick. And today's video is going to be something I want to talk about. And the thing we're going to talk about today is men being called sassy, or what makes a man sassy. And the reason this topic came about was because I rewatched the Chinese Kitty interview on the Dailyrapupcrew podcast. And the sassy men topic was something that came about. And I'm going to link that video in the description. Thankfully, they cut out that segment of the video. So that's what I'm going to put in the description. But that's the question. Like, what does make a man sassy? Now, in that video, they did bring up a few examples. Some of them I agree with. Some of them I don't. One of the ones that I agree with is men using certain lingo. You know, like lingo that women use. I think one of the ones they brought up was, it's giving. And I'm like, yeah, that is kind of sassy. I was going to do, it's giving. You know, like, oh, it's giving, you know, like, yeah, I notice a lot of guys saying that now, and that shit is kind of sassy to me. So basically, sassy just means gay or effeminate. I mean, if you want to, like, be blatant about it, that's what it means. And that is an example of that. Now, one I don't agree with is when they said a man having a lot of bad female friends. Like, if he's around a whole bunch of bad bitches and doesn't try to press up on them, that's being sassy. That I don't agree with. And once again, this is an example of women not making up their fucking mind. 1 minute you want a man to practice dick discipline. Okay, you have a guy in this scenario. He's a guy, he has a whole bunch of bad bitches around him, friends, if you will, and he's not trying to fuck any of them. In particular, because he's already in a relationship. And that's what the guys brought up. Is what if he's in a relationship? Oh, that's still kind of sassy, because if he was really straight like that, then he would try to make his move or whatnot. That I don't agree with. I'm saying not every man is a pussy hound. Now, don't get me wrong. Every man, at least straight man, wants pussy. You know what I mean? But some dudes are not pressed by it. Or you already fucked so many bitches, it's not even that big of a deal. So I'm saying, like, the way I look at it, that's a flex. I'm saying if you're a guy and you have a whole bunch of bad bitches that want to be around you and they just like being around you, that's a flex. I'm just saying, like, and not only that, but it also shows that you have self-control. It shows that you're not easily, you know, like, intrigued with somebody. You know, it's like, shit, it's just another bitch. You know what I mean? Like, hey, it is what it is. So me, I don't look at that as sassy. That's what I'm saying. That's an example of one I agree with and one I don't. I'm saying a man saying certain lingo is sassy. I mean, that was just one example, but there's other ones too. You know, like a dude texting you back K or KK. I can't stand that shit. That shit is gay to me. I'm just saying, like, that shit is kind of gay, you know? Or like a dude like, oh, they're accessorizing. No straight man says accessorizing or accessorize, you know? That's what I'm saying. So certain lingo is kind of sassy, you know what I mean? Like I said, but being around a whole bunch of bad bitches and not trying to fuck them, that's not being sassy. That's just a man that got good self-control. Or, like I said, it's not easily, you know, like, pressed. You know what I mean? Like, hey, like, I get that. I get pussy on a regular basis. So it's not a big deal if I'm around a whole bunch of it, you know, because, you know what I mean? Like, I'm good. If they want to fuck, that's cool. If they don't, that's cool too. I'm good either way. That's the way I look at it. Like I said, to me, that's alpha or sigma and all that other bullshit. But like I'm saying, that's a flex. Um, Another example of a guy being sassy is doing gay shit. And when I say doing gay shit, I'm talking like wearing like nail polish on your fingers, on your toes, wearing a fucking purse, a fanny pack, um, a skirt, like that type of shit. That is sassy to me. A dude dressing gay is sassy to me. Even if he doesn't act gay or isn't effeminate or flamboyant, that's still that's sassy to me. Like I'm saying, like, nah, man. Like I'll say when I see a dude with a purse or a merce or a man bag, that nah. Nah, that no. There's no way to make that shit look cool to me. You know what I mean? There's no way to make that shit look cool to me. Another thing that they brought up in that Dailyrapupcrew podcast was a man that dances. Like, is that sassy? Now, they needed, the dance to be specified. Like, is it just a dude just dancing, just vibing, or is it a guy doing that like that hip shit, like that TikTok shit? Like that's sassy to me. And that's actually another one I will agree with. Now, dancing in general isn't sassy, even though some dudes will get called that, like, oh, a man is not supposed to dance, or the most you're supposed to do is two-step, two-step or lean back and do the rock away. And lean back. That's what I'm saying. Like, like that kind of dancing, if you will, or movement is not gay. But a dude that like dances, like on some Bobby Shmurda shit, like, oh, that's gay. I don't agree with that. Okay, the way he was dancing at first, doing the Shmurda dance and the Shmoney dance, that wasn't gay. You know what I mean? It was cool, right? Now, post prison, like the shit he's been doing after he got out is kind of suspect. Like I'm with Whack 100 on that. Nobody want to see Bobby Shmurda twerking. I'm like, I'm like, you've been in there a little bit too long. You know what I mean? Like, oh, he's just happy to be out. Yeah, he's happy, all right. He's very happy. So yeah, the dancing thing, it can be, but it's not like the end all be all. Like, oh, like if a dude dances by default, he's being sassy. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. But I'm saying, but yeah, that TikTok type shit. Like if you see dudes doing TikTok videos, that shit is kind of like, I'll say after a certain age. I mean, it's cool, like, if you're like in your teens and but if you're a grown ass man, like, like in your 20s, your 30s, 40s, and you got a TikTok, that shit is kind of like, I mean, if you on there doing that trendy shit, like I'm trying to think of like what's hot right now. Or at one point in time, like that Drake slide shit. Like I'm saying, like that type of shit. That's what I'm talking about. That's kind of sassy to me. That is kind of sassy, But yeah, another thing that makes a guy sassy, at least to me, I'm gonna say a dude that overreacts or adds some more emotion to their response. Like they come at you crazy. Like I'm trying to use an example. Like let's say you have a WNBA player and an NBA player, right? If the WNBA player is going back and forth with the coach after getting called on a foul, they will be called like bitchy or something like that, right? Now, a dude doing the same thing, he'll be called passionate because it's a sport, right? But to me, that's still bitch made too. That's kind of sassy to me. I'm saying if a dude, I'm saying when you getting overly emotional, overreacting, that's sassy to me. Like I'm saying, like, I know that wasn't the best example, but you guys know what I'm talking about. I'm saying, like, we've seen basketball players over the years, snapping on the coach and everything. I'm like, sometimes the foul is justified, sometimes it's not, but the reaction towards it, sometimes is very sassy, you know, like, and I'm saying a lot of dudes do that with women. I'm guilty of it myself. I've done that a few times when I was still young and dumb. Um, but that's very sassy. I'm saying I'm not saying that you can't express yourself or speak your mind, but it's the way you do it. That's what I'm saying. Like they say, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Like I'm saying, if you're like overly emotional with it, or you're putting emotion before logic, that's being sassy to me. Like I said, to me, that's sassy. You know, like I said, yes, us, we get pissed off. You know, we can have an exchange of words, but I'm saying like it's the way you do it. You know, like when you, like I said, when emotion takes over logic, that's when it becomes sassy. There's nothing wrong with speaking your mind and getting into somebody's face. Me, I'm not against that because I've done that numerous times. You know what I mean? And me, I'm not the type to go back and forth too much until I'm ready to throw hands. Like I said, so I'm not big on all that yappity yap. You know what I mean? Like, you better keep that shit short because we're gonna be boxing soon. That's me. That's the way I get down. But you know, like I said, I ain't nothing like these other niggas. Pop shit and take it back. If I said it, I meant it. It is what it is. That's me. Like I'm saying, but that's sassy. It's getting overly emotional. Um, and yeah, I mean, there's other examples, but obviously my time is finite. So with that being said, Southpaw Slick, I'm out.